We're back. That's all I can say. We're back. Saint Mac and Friends, episode one of two, three, four. We'll see. But anyway, I invited my two good friends from London and Glasgow, and I asked them, "Can you join me for first episode and have a look back at 2020 and what will bring 21?" And here they are. Hi guys.
Hello.
What was that?
Hello.
Paul, Shilton, how are you doing?
Oh, good. All good. All good. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, good. How are you doing? Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to
Happy
you all.
Burns Night.
Yeah. Shilton, you just told us you have a sore throat, so you will be a bit ease down for the moment. And we'll try to have let's do the talking with Paul. Let's start with that. How was 2020 for you guys? It was a strange year, after all.
Yeah, I turned it off and turned it on again several times, and it still didn't work properly. So it's finished though, which is good. So now we have 2021.
The moment you asked that thing,
strange
the few minutes silence explained it, everything. How was it?
Yeah, I can imagine that. But for you guys, a lot of things changed in 2020. It started fine, I think, because January is quite normal. But then in February, it smokily changed because we met in Ghent. But Paul, you weren't there. At that point, you weren't allowed to visit the festival. And a week after that, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last one in Scotland the same week.
The last one for me was in Denmark. That's the last festival that I had done, and that's it. It will be an year now.
Yeah. Normally, you quite travel a lot, so I think. How many days are you a normal year at home?
God.
Yeah.
Normally it's
20,
very strange. I mean,
30.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much out every weekend. I would say, or just alternate weekends, traveling part of it. Otherwise, sometimes weeks out. But now this time is just the opposite. During lockdown, I've just done one.
How many days were you on the road this year? Of last year?
One. I only did one trip up to Scotland for a tasting. Just the opposite.
And Paul, did you do anything live?
Yeah, I was doing a tasting with. That's all.
And you, Paul?
Yeah, I got a couple in. I had a few trips to Germany before the lockdown, and then the last festival was Fife, which was the weekend. Same weekend as Ghent, and then in September I managed to do one in Berlin when things relaxed a little bit, but then they all closed down again. So
yeah, it closed down after you left.
Wasn't my fault, wasn't me. But yeah, in the meantime, I learned to use video from Shilton. He showed me how to use the Reface app. And I did what everybody else did on lockdown and stayed on Facebook.
Yeah. I think everybody noticed it because it became quite a battle between the two of you. Like, who's more scary at some points? Because the reindeer and Paul's head sticking out of his arse, it was too much for me. This is too real.
There was others I couldn't publish.
There were so many other videos that I've got it saved on my phone, but it's not worth posting on social media.
But actually, it was a strange year because your jobs changed drastic because you weren't allowed and it wasn't possible to visit stores and fairs. But then this thing, like the online business started up, did you adapt? Did you have to adapt?
Yeah, I mean that's. I still remember the first tasting that we did, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how this is going to work. And today we are, doing so many. There was a tasting I went did in the morning at 8 for some guys in New Zealand. There was a tasting for the guys in the States, which I was up all night and went to bed in the morning at 7 after finishing that tasting. Which is good. Which is good. I always said this every time someone talks about 2020. I mean, good that at least we have the technology and you can still do stuff on Facebook and social media. Few years back, maybe it wasn't, we were not used to it, but here we are today.
Yeah, a few years back, you have to phone in like, now try this third whiskey from the left. No, the other left.
Yeah, it was. I think everybody I know, we had to. I'm amazed at how quickly we all sort of switched to the virtual stuff. And it was great to see our customers, and also actually the people that are buying the whiskey, because we started doing a lot of these tastings that maybe we didn't see the people tasting whiskey before. We would see them at fairs. But yeah, I'm the same as Shilton. I was online at 2 or 3 in the morning because there was a tasting in America, and there was, I've done tastings in Austria and in Belgium, and it's good. It kept us busy. It kept us in contact with all our friends and all our customers and all the people that normally we see at fairs. It's good to know that they're well, and hopefully we can get together properly again soon. So
yeah, is it a good thing you can travel to America, or you can broadcast to America without traveling? You spare a lot of time, but on the other side, you're able to talk in person to them. What's the easiest way to sell? I think in person, I presume.
For me, I prefer in person. If you ask me, I always love that. But there are some good things about that as well. If you're doing a Zoom tasting and you don't want someone to talk, you can just mute them, which you can't do in person.
Yeah. Or somebody does a Zoom tasting and is sending you a message like, "Do you have a minute?"
Yeah, do you have a minute? Can you just join in and talk about the whiskey?
It's the last one. You can talk as much as you want. Last Friday it happened. There's another of you guys. Hi, Mark.
He should be face down in his haggis by now. It's Burns night. He should be eating haggis.
Burns night. Yeah.
But no, she was right. In-person stuff is always more fun, and it's really, I've not tasted that many new whiskies this year because normally we do the fairs and then you walk to everybody's table and try all the new whiskies. We haven't been able to do that. You can't do that on Zoom. But yeah, it's okay. It's better than I thought it was going to be when I realized that we couldn't travel. So I'd still rather be traveling though. So.
Yeah, I ended up even buying
my house got
That was my next question. Did you buy a lot of whiskey yourself?
I ended up buying a lot more whiskey in 2020 than any other year.
Yes, same for you, Paul.
Yeah, all these. Well, there was less whiskey getting released, I think, but there was so many kind of ballots for new distilleries that when you're sitting at home, I just entered lots, and I think I bought about a dozen bottles of whiskey in the last 3 months. So I have, I managed to get a Dornick, I managed to get an Icknian, lots of stuff to try. So
yeah. To give the viewers a point on how normal a fair is ending, it's like Chilton's wearing a basket of beers and Paul is wearing Chilton's hat. It's not quite the same for the both of you, but
that hat spreads around the world faster than pretty much anything. I've seen that hat in so many places. So
yeah, it has some diseases.
Cool. Something normally we'd mix it.
Yeah. Can imagine. Is there a difference? Do you, the both of you work for a distillery, but is there a difference for you guys, or for example, Kenny from Drummer, or Mark with Mark Watt as being an independent bottler? Was 2020 better for them? Easier?
Probably easy. Can't really speak for Kenny or Mark. I mean, those guys both essentially launched ranges this year, which is amazing to do, and a lot of innovations come out of people being locked down and looking for new ways to work.
Mm-hmm.
From a distillery point of view, the difficulties we had with the lockdown, there's been delays at the bottling hall, so getting your new releases released there's been some delays there. We're not in the office, so we can't taste the batches together, so you have to send little bottles to each of your workmates, and so yeah, I think Kenny and Vic are in the same house, so they're tasting the new cast together, but it's just more difficult to go and visit warehouses and bottling halls to actually get stuff done. So when the restrictions lift, when they sort the virus out, there will be new releases, I think, every single week, because we'll all have to catch up with all the stuff we were planning for last year. So
by the way, is the distillery closed at this point, or is it just open? It's not open for visit, I know that, but are you able to work there?
Yeah.
For us,
our
yes.
distillery is now open again. It was closed for a while last year. It's now open. It's not open for any kind of visitors from the public,
but you can
because of the COVID regulations. Yeah, and our store in Aviemore is it doesn't need to be. You can still have a liquor store in Scotland open, but we have it closed, and it's only open for kind of online. So the guys are in there working for online and mail order stuff.
Okay. So
but we can't travel too much in Scotland at the moment. So
okay, a very important question from Krien. The both of you know her. Do you still have some Belgian beers left?
Yes.
It's going to be a Shilton question.
I think it's a question for the both of you.
No, it is. Yes, I do still have some left from my last trip. It's very difficult because I'm like kind of be in the right mood to have one. Just not go on with it, be easy on it. And plus, shipping now from out of UK is even not easy, because I just seen one of the guys bought a bottle of whiskey for 45 euros from France, and he ended up, I think, paid him about 50 euros extra just for the customs. Yeah.
It's strange times. It's the other way around. It's more of the same, because I know a guy who bought a bottle in England from a whiskey auction, I think. He had to pay £40 extra, so he wasn't quite happy. Will this?
I think that the changes have caught the auction guys out a lot, actually. So,
but will this be the new normal, or will this is this just the beginning, or will it be quite normal in a while?
I hope it's not. I hope it's not the new normal. I mean, particularly if you're buying whiskey at auction and things like that, it's going to be difficult if you're buying it from a different country. We always try and suggest, if you live in Belgium, then buy the whiskey from a store that we supply in Belgium through our importer. But it might be difficult for some of the distillery bottles or the festival bottles that used to be a lot easier to get. And I think it goes both ways. If we bring stuff in from Belgium, it costs a lot more than it did last week. And the same if whiskey goes out. So I don't know. I hope they find a good way around it.
Well, I think this this will continue when it show as well. I mean, because sometimes you can't visit the show for whatever reason in person, and you can still be a part of it. Because I've seen a few tastings in the UK as well, but there are people from Norway, all over Europe joining in. I mean, all you have to do is just send the samples across the table.
They have to pay the customs. It's more or less.
We don't
for
like
free.
giving the customs any more. We don't like giving the customs any more money than they want. So.
A question I get a lot these days is: will whiskey be more expensive in Europe with these new rules?
Coming from the UK to Europe will
Easy
be
answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the UK to
easy answer.
Europe.
Yeah, I was wondering
The
that.
shipping costs currently will make things more expensive. Whether or not those prices change in the shop, at the moment, we're trying to make sure that the prices to the customers stay the same. But it depends what you have to do. So it might be that, you know, if you have to put extra labels on, or if you have to pay extra shipping costs somewhere, who knows? At the moment, there's no set. There's no set rules, though. I mean, it's not like in the States where they have the 25% tariff on the whiskies, but we're trying to work with each of the importers have to try and make sure it's as similar as possible to before. So,
Mark is just saying it's about the virtual contact, and he's mentioning. I think in the future it will be a mix of the both of them doing live tasting, and I think I really think it's a good thing, because you're not always able to do a tasting or visit a shop, and this way you can do a fair and a tasting as well in the same week or same day even, and that makes it easy for you guys, and for us shop owners it's fun to have you, although it's only digital, but you're still there just for us. I see.
Yeah. I like everything that's happening with the shops now. Hello, Davey. And this has been great, because at the fair we would only ever see you at the fair. But I hope that when we relax, we can combine the best bits of the virtual and the best bits of the face-to-face. Because previously we might have only been able to visit your store once a year for a tasting in the store for 20 people, where now we can do a virtual one for a much bigger audience. But combining both ways is going to be the best way forward. So
yeah. It started a new way of thinking and working for everybody.
Yeah.
Ken is asking.
You can send.
Go ahead, Paul. You can go ahead.
Oh no, I was looking at the Queen's question there. So
okay, it's a question for Shilton. So, do you import directly from India to Belgium?
Yeah, so for us, just as I said, it's not going to change much, because we got we have a warehouse in Rotterdam, so it comes into into Europe, and from there we ship it to different countries. So it doesn't make much of a change for us at the moment. But getting the stocks into UK could be something that we have to look for.
If you have to say, it's not only the traveling, it's not only the fair on its own, but what do you miss the most from your job? Is it the friendship between you guys? Because I know when you come together with Mark Watt or Mark Westmoreland, or the two of you, it's always like you seeing an old friend or a good brother or good friend, and you don't have that at this moment. You can talk digitally like we do now, but I don't think it's the same for you.
No, no. So it's kind of again, just as you said itself. I always say this: it's like a small whiskey family, and you see them. There you go. So you always
I
miss.
like I
You
like
always
Scott in the background there. If you show that picture, you see Scott Adamson
yeah,
in the background. So.
No, it's gone. Sorry. We have another one.
yeah.
There are a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, meeting colleagues and meeting friends, is something that all you look out for when you're doing a show. You look out for who else is there, which other brand is there, and looking out for who will be there. Like, okay, Spade, fine, Paul will be there. So you they're excited to meet each other after a long time and every show, and then there is. That all that excitement is not the same over here. Just sitting in front of the computer. And talking, which is dangerous as well. It is good that it connects you, but you end up drinking a lot, which I have seen when you're doing a Zoom tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the same. Yeah, the traveling thing. It's a small. Each distillery that's got somebody that travels. You might go for a couple of weeks and not see anybody, and then you'll see the same person every single weekend for like a month at a different event. And it's crazy hours, but it's a lot of fun. We wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy it. Most of us, I think, like what we do. So it's weird having to change.
It's what Mark says as well.
But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, most of us never set out to do this. We kind of found the job and liked it, so stuck around. And the folk that you meet, every one of us have come from a different background, and that's kind of cool. We're not all from the same college course or anything like that. And it's always great to see everybody. That's why it's been so difficult when you can't, even things like finding out who stays where or where the good restaurants or bars are in each town if you've never been there before. Who can help me get back to the hotel after I've been to the Geneva bar in Ghent, for instance. It does. Those are things that you don't see, but it's a lot of fun, and that's probably why we all still do this job. So.
Yeah. When the first fair will be able to start, do you think you will be there? And I mean, your first call you get, it's like, Paul, Shilton, we do a fair and whatever. I don't. It's a little fair, but do you want to come? Will you say yes, whatever, wherever it is, as long as it's fair?
Wherever it is the right word. When we are not sure when it is, but wherever it is, I'll definitely go for it.
It's a small fair. No problem. No.
Yeah, I've had my suitcase is packed, and then just waiting for the call. Kenny, I heard Kenny had bought like about 3 new suitcases so he could plan to, because he loses them at every trip. So he's going and got whole new suitcases to lose. But at the moment, we're just waiting to see where the first fairs are going to be. There's a couple have been announced in Germany at the end of May.
Okay.
And those might be the first ones, I think. So, but it depends, obviously. Again, it has to be safe for people to go at the fair. It has to be safe to travel. And some folk might be able to go. We might not be allowed to travel outside the UK, and vice versa. Yeah. So, the sooner it improves, the better, though. So.
But are you afraid? For example, if you had to do a tasting right now at this point, would you do it? Let's say you have to travel to Belgium or the Netherlands, and you're able to do it.
I would.
If we were able to do it and told we were. Yeah.
If you're able to do it, if you are allowed to travel and all, then I would.
Do it,
Mano is mentioning it's the best way to
enjoy it. If it's safe to go, I would go.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that most people miss, the social contact. It's like talking to somebody, talking to you guys, and having a hi, how you doing? Do you remember me? I'm your friend. Things like that.
Yeah.
Do we get some samples for free or 2, 3? No.
I don't mind that now. I've missed giving samples out for so long that I'd like to pour some drams for people. So
Be careful what you say. People will remember this. Do you remember that episode?
oh,
No.
there's a little line at the bottom that says it's
Yeah,
whiskey I give away for free.
Sorry, Paul. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I put a clause at the bottom that says it's only Shilton's whiskey I give away for free.
The fine print, Paul. The fine print.
Do you have to go to the toilet? Nah. It's not safe anymore. But what do you expect from 2021? Will it be better?
Well, it all depends on what is better. It's as long as things get back to normal. I mean, market-wise, there are some markets which have really performed well for us this year. In fact, there are some which did not. So, as long as things get back moving out, and the market starts building up, then I think we should. The thing is to just wait and see how it is. Well, there are people who have gone ahead with plans, like Paul said, in Germany, or even there are September, November. There are people who have already booked in the dates and finalized the dates for the shows.
Yeah.
But it all depends. It's just a tentative date that they have, just booked in. They've not started selling tickets and all, so it's kind of too early. I think everyone is just going with the flow and just seeing how things are.
You were saying before.
I think it's definitely. I think.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think 2021 is definitely going to be better because we started from this point, whereas in 2020 we thought the year was going to go like this, and it changed completely. Mm-hmm. But we've had a few months we had last year to learn how to deal with this. So, we've found new ways to work, and then hopefully we can then start traveling again towards or later in the year. We can get our new releases back on track. We can start going out to the markets again. I'm the same as Shilton. Some of the places we work have done really well last year. Others not so well. So lots of things to concentrate on. So
yeah. Are there countries where they buy or sell more whiskey, and otherwise they sell less whiskey? Because I know in Belgium we sell a lot more whiskey this last year than we did in 2019.
Yeah,
there was some, as an example. An example, we've got new importer in France, a new importer in. We started selling in Greece for the first time, and we have a new importer in Austria. So we have some new places for us, but we've had some changes in other parts of the world because in Canada that we had to change an importer, and it never stays still, but hopefully we can have more of the good things in the year ahead. So
yeah. And Shilton, what do you think?
Same for us as well. We have got. We changed our distributor in the UK. We've got some new markets opened up. Some markets have really done well, especially I would say Poland, Sweden, Denmark have done really well this year for us. So, and the other markets do not do well. And at the same time, as one of the biggest reason is that you cannot do any shows and festivals and tastings and the drives, meeting people. So there are limitations on that, so I would say, and that's how we couldn't do much the last year.
Yeah, am I right if I say the markets where you are already a player, a well-known player, it's easy and it's still going without you. But the new markets, for example, Austria for Spain, they need you. They need a brand ambassador for being there and representing the brand. Is there that big a difference? Sorry, Paul, I
It's
couldn't hear
different
you.
from country to country, Gunther.
Mhm.
We changed the distributor in Austria, but immediately within a week we had our first virtual tasting. And in some others, some other countries where we sell mostly into bars than to shops. Obviously, with a lot of countries, the bars are closed, so there's been much less business there. But it's just every single country is completely different to the next one at the moment. So it's fun to see what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
thank you,
So
Bruno.
the virtual tastings are very important at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. But how do you attract new customers? Because it seems not easy to do that from home.
I mean, it's quite. I'm sure you've seen that as well, Gunter. I mean, not many people, not every market they do online business as well. For some of them, the online business have really worked well. Last year, I've seen. I mean, I'm talking about the retailers, the shops, have really worked well. Some do not, and it was not so easy as well to do an online tasting for us. Even we have approached so many, and they were like, okay, Zoom tastings and stuff like that. They're not familiar. They're not used to it. So yeah, but slowly, after a few days' time, you will see the same guys coming back to you and saying, "Let's do it," because there's no other option. There's no other option. You have to survive in this time. So that is the only way forward. So.
Mhm.
It is the same thing, just like Paul said as well. I mean, some places where we have we've done online tastings with the buyers and done stuff like that, or mostly virtual tasting. But it's not the same. It's not the same again.
Yeah. I can imagine because for customers it still is actually it's not easy to do an online tasting because they don't have the feeling because it's not a live tasting. They don't have the social contact with you guys in person. There's that wall. Let's call it a wall. It's not a Trump wall, but just a regular wall. Uh, uh, and that isn't easy because we noticed this last Friday, for example, Chilton. You asked me why did you left, and I said I think it's very important when those guys have a chat with you, just to have a chat, and I think that makes it easy and that makes the brand alive.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's we have to be careful, I think, because when I do a tasting, everybody's looking at you, and that's normal. It's in a regular tasting as well, but they don't have that chat with the neighbor, the guy on the side, and what do you think? Okay, hey, you have to try this one. And I'm scared when we all start up again, that isn't possible because everybody's really scared of getting a disease because you can't do this anymore, or you may not do this anymore. Will this be a different thing within the future? Because I'm pretty sure this part will not happen that much anymore. Do you get what I mean?
I think what's going to happen. Totally get it. With all these virtual, I mean, I think tonight's a good example because all over Scotland there are sort of virtual things going on for Burns Night. So there are chefs, there are whiskey people, there's restaurants, all doing virtual stuff. And I think we're reaching. I mean, even my sister and her husband now do virtual tastings for different things. They never did this before. And I think hopefully the people that have done virtual tastings for the first time this year, when they see a fair or a food and drink event physically being advertised, or they see a store in their neighborhood doing things, they might decide to go and visit now when they didn't before. Maybe not new. In the same way that Shilton took up video editing, over lockdown, some of these guys are now more interested in food and drink. So we might see them in person shows. I hope we get more people interested now. So
Yeah, I heard there are a lot of doctors following you guys, by the way. They do a follow-up. What happens with guys who are on lockdown for a year? Here's a big one. It's from Manu. One of the plus sides of this is I feel it has lowered the bar for customers to reach out to the people in the industry. So many clubs now hosting events with brand ambassadors because they can't rely on visiting festivals to meet you guys to get and talk to you about whiskey. So yeah, that's one of the positive things. And in the end, it's even cheaper for them because they don't have to buy a ticket. They don't have to. No, that's not the wrong word. That's the wrong word. They will not drink extras, but on a fair, they will have a mindset on let's try this one, and afterwards it's like and this one and this one and this one as well. Oh, let's do that one again. So that I think it's cheaper for them.
And you don't have to book a hotel, and you don't have to drive back.
You don't have to book a hotel, yeah. And you don't have to make an excuse to your wife for leaving her at home. That's not for me because my wife always travels with me, like you know. But
and you don't have to drive back home as well, so it is fine.
yeah, it's more safe. So Manu, thank you. We do it all for you.
You see some strange things on the virtual tastings too, though. So there's new comedy here. So
yeah. What's the strangest thing
you write on the screen when they taste virtually?
Repeat that
for
one.
Me,
yeah.
I did a tweet tasting in December, and I asked people to describe on Twitter the aroma, and one person replied that he couldn't because his dog had just farted.
That's a good one. Shilton, what's the strangest thing for you?
Now that never happens.
I wouldn't call anything strange. I wouldn't call anything strange, but one of the tastings we were just talking about India as a place and talking about the food, and the topic came up of someone asking about the photos that I put up about food and cooking, and we're just talking about the Indian food with the people, and there was one person who just disappeared from the screen. Wasn't there for the next 15-20 minutes, and we're like, okay, where is that person gone? And when she comes back on screen and says, "I'm so sorry, guys, it made me hungry, so I just went to order some Indian food."
That's a good one as well. Davey's asking us the strangest thing I have seen, and look over there. Ooh, it's a nice one. But anyway, the strangest thing for me, it's a
nice little Christmas. Look at that.
Yeah. Did you get that for free? Did you have to pay tax on this?
Santa brought it.
Oh, Santa brought it. But anyway, Davey was asking what's the strangest thing I have seen. It was at a tasting of Chris Hayes. He was doing a Irish coffee tasting with us, and at one point it was like, "What's that guy doing?" And I was like, "Stop it!" Really screaming. He was going to the toilet. And he wasn't aware that his camera was on, so it was a very strange thing. And Chris was like, "Whoa," and he ducked. It was a nice one. Stav is asking a question, and Clean has to type it. Is the distillery planning to use other casks than the normally used casks, like chestnut or wine casks? That's a good question.
Yes, we are. We've got some. We have got the Oloroso and the PX already, but we have got some Madeira and port coming out as well. That is next, and there are plans of working with some rum cask as well in the future.
Okay, Paul, are you doing something crazy?
We have some Oloroso and some PX casks that we bought directly from Bodega a couple of years ago. We were going to do something last year because that was our 30th birthday last year, but this might be something you see later on this year. I don't know. We've still got to taste the samples. So we've got some Italian wine casks. We've got some French casks. And we're looking for new ideas as well. So
Okay. So chestnut cask will be something might happen or might not. I think it's an interesting cask, by the way. Mark is saying
not
Alexa
something
now.
not-
Sorry. Have you read it?
Yeah, I've seen that,
Yeah.
and it has happened to me as well.
Oh,
So
we are 8 years in production today, so Mark and all the guys from Wilburn, a big shout out. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Wes.
You can send the
Happy
cast
birthday,
to St. Mac. It's in Belgium. If it's for free, I pay the taxes. Kreen is saying, maybe, Paul, you can name it Lagenmoor.
Yeah. Good idea. Maybe. I don't know. We need to check if that name is owned by the TV company or not. So
Is there a TV company
because
it's
that
called
was
like
the
that?
name they used when we did the TV show. Yeah,
Okay.
Lagenmoor was there was a TV show filmed in our distillery, and they used that name for the fictional distillery on the TV show called Monarch of the Glen.
Okay.
So we have the sign at the distillery. We have the old sign, but I don't know if that's the name's actually owned by the TV company. So
Okay. It's I didn't know that, by the way. Let's see. I have this picture because for some reason you're with the wrong brand, and for some reason
I think
Chilton
the
bought
picture
it.
of me came. That was in France.
that was in France. Yeah, I remember that one, Paul. It came up to me in my memories. I think today or yesterday, at some point, it just came up on Facebook. I was going to share it.
You can share it.
I
think maybe
I knew you would come up with all these images, anyways.
No. Some of the strangest thing I've seen from you guys is very strange pictures. This one is the first,
Yeah.
and I don't see any bodies because there's only heads and a building. And then there's the other one. It's like you don't even see a head, but more or less a building.
The second was me photobombing Paul.
Yeah, Paul, I asked you before, but I ask you again, why?
because Shilton's beard is better. It looks better in the photographs than mine, so I just don't put mine in the photographs. So.
Okay, that's a good answer. We'll take it for that. Okay, Green is saying Monarch of the Glen. She's giving you names.
That's the name. That's the name of the TV show that they had. The
Maybe
distillery called
something for a
Lagenmoor.
twist. Chilton looks like he's adding cyanide to
Well, now
Paul's.
you're giving everybody the answer.
You guys,
No, that's not a tasting note.
oh, that one. I was speechless. Was like, what? One of you guys, you put this on Facebook a while ago, but it's a good one because I think it's more or less correct,
Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
we
true.
all hope 2021 will be better. But okay, like we said before, it's not easy. But what are your plans for yourself during this year? What are you really not job related, but what do you want to do for yourself? It doesn't have to do anything with whiskey.
With the amount of cooking that I'm doing right now, I'm thinking of opening up a restaurant.
Can imagine that.
And with the movies, I will definitely thinking of giving an audition to one of the movies at some point.
Paul?
Paul, you can add for the movies as well.
I'm going to buy tickets to Shilton's. I'm going to buy tickets to Shilton's movies and book it in his restaurant.
Yeah. I think I will visit that restaurant as well, because Chilton one time he cooked for us, and is still talking about it like how delicious it was, and it was delicious, and every time we see a picture of his cooking, it's like, oh man, that's a real man, he can cook, and I was like, fuck you. So Chilton, I hate you a little bit.
Shilton's pictures of his food always turn up when I'm hungry.
Yeah. Bollywood, Chilton. Bollywood. You need a sushi. I think Steph is available at the moment.
There is a hashtag which I use, and it's in Konkani, and it's in the local language in Goa, and it says many people don't get it. It says chef de how. So how means me. It's like chef de me.
Yeah. You cook a lot. Are you the cook at home?
Well, yeah, I love cooking. I love cooking myself, and it's something which I learned if you are stuck in the Middle East for 5 years, Gunther, you need to, and at that point I used to call up my mom and learn. Just way back in 2006.
And how did that work? Hi, honey. I'm doing this.
But now it is just different, because I love to cook. So it keeps me, and when you miss the food, it's not easy to get it going food in any of the Indian restaurants over here. So that's the best way of doing it.
Cooking it yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, do you love cooking as well? Or just eating?
No, I just, the end result is my favorite part. I'm not a very good cook, so
that's very honest.
I can phone out to. I know how to work the Uber Eats to get to the finest restaurants in Glasgow. So I've had some. I've had
very
amazing food delivered in the last 6 months. Seriously.
First tasting at our place will be with Chef Chilton. All right. I will definitely come.
We'll do that, definitely, Cream. So maybe next tasting we can do something. On trial basis, we did it with Gunther already. So
yeah. Yeah, and I will try every dish you make.
Yeah.
Something completely different. I promised a lot of people I will talk about it this evening, and it's you guys are a little bit involved in that, but we can't say that much at this point. There will be more explanation in a few days. But there's something happening in Flanders, in Belgium, and it's the Flanders Malt Connection. I'm involved myself, so I'm very happy to talk about this one. It's on Saturday, March 6. 5 provinces, 5 clans, and it's Ten Erwaarde, De Kluizenaar, Huiswindels, Parlement, and Saint Mac. These are the clans, and you guys, you were asked to do something, and the both of you said, okay, we'll do that. So you will be there on March 6th, I presume, and give a little talk about your brand, without saying anything different, and don't try to say what we will be doing. Do people need to sign up for this one? This moment you have to say yes.
No, I was the Queen's comment came up and said, "Don't spoil it." So I wasn't sure what to say. Is it a yes or a no? Yes, definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes.
Look, Queen has messaged me saying, asked me to do a small live dance performance. So I will be doing
Yeah, online whiskey and fruit pairing. Chilton and Travis are sending us the food and sending us the whiskey. Paul and I can eat all we want. All you can eat online.
Yeah.
No, it's not a food sparing. It's a good one. No, but within a few days we will come back to this one and we will talk about it more and people will know what it is. But I think everybody has to sign up and join us this Saturday and maybe another day as well. But especially Saturday, March 6th, it will be a big party, like with a lot of people. And I feel like Trump, like I say that it's a big party and we will be with a lot of people. And
it's the best party.
It's the best party. It's the greatest party and it's the best party. It will be never greater again. But anyway,
and it's online as well, so you don't have to wear your face covered.
Yeah, it's online. That's the only thing everybody knows. It's online. No, guys, we're at the end of the broadcast. So thank you very much for doing this and joining me again. I want to say thanks to all the viewers and especially Mark because he's having a birthday today. His 8-year-old distillery. So Mark, have a great evening. Drink a few, share a few whiskeys. I can send you my address, and I think you have Chilton's and Paul's address already. So no, you're more than welcome to. I will try everything you want. But anyway, Paul and Chilton, thank you very much for joining us. I can only say we will be back soon. We have another broadcast next week, and it's with Alex Gong from Worthy Park Distillery. It's the third time we will try to set it up, and this time it will work because the other 2 times something went wrong. Actually, it was my fault, both of them. So I'm pretty sure it will happen again. No, it will not happen again. It will go right this time. And Green says, see everybody on 6th of March. So be sure to be there. And as somebody else, love to see you all. Thank you, Mark.
See you on the 6th of March.
Mano says this was fun. Cheers, everyone. Hope to see you all soon. March 6th. Easy, Mano. Easy. So, guys, thank you very much. It's the end of the show. Do you want to say something to the viewers? One last thing.
To the viewers, yes, but I would definitely like to also say thanks, Gunther, for having this. I know how it started off and keeping us all connected, having fun in the chat. I keep getting the notifications every time you go live, so I'm okay. This is time to listen to Gunther. So yes, thanks for doing this and keeping us all connected and coming and listening to it. And then there is also sometimes where you just do your guest appearances. When Paul is doing a tasting and when Ken is doing a tasting. So thank you. And well, I would say 6th of March is something to look forward to, which is the next.
Definitely.
Stay safe, everyone.
Okay. Paul, do you want to say one last thing to the viewers?
Yeah. Again, thanks to everybody that tunes into these broadcasts, that takes part in the virtual tastings and that supports all the great whiskey stores around Europe who've stayed open and worked throughout this whole kind of crazy last year. Stay safe and come up and say hello if you see us at a fair, and Shilton will pour you an extra dram. So
it's a good deal. And anyway, by the way, guys, I don't know if you remember because a lot of you were drunk that night, but when we did a tasting with Kenny, we mentioned after the show we had to do this again then in live. Do you remember that one? So whenever it's possible and you're in the near, we will make sure to set it up and have a great tasting with the 3 of you. Paul is like, oh no. But I bring the beer, I promise. So guys, thank you very much for joining me again, and talk to you soon. And goodbye to all the viewers. See you soon.
thank you, everybody.